Welcome, Cowboy fans and Cowboy haters alike. I'm the G, and I'm the host of Let's Talk Cowboys, where we talk facts. Let's talk facts. Lot of things always swirling around the Dallas Cowboys. And I'm with you, Nisi. It's like, man, it would not be the Cowboys if it didn't have drama. I mean, we're the original Dallas from the old days of the soap opera Dallas. I mean, that's what we are right now. And so we're going to be talking about the some things that's going on. I got kind of an agenda here I'm going to talk about in this session right here. I want to talk about James Jones a little bit. I want to talk about Mike Zimmer. I'm going to see if I can get this thing going with Mike Zimmer. I'm going to talk about, I want to play a little bit about Jerry Jones again, if I can. And then I'm going to talk about Jerry and Cooper Rush. And then we're going to talk about Cooper Rush. I really think we need to get our brains straight about Cooper Rush. We really need to get our brains straight about Cooper Rush. It makes it hard. But hold on a second. I'm going to get to the Cooper Rush stuff last because that's going to be the longer discussion. What I want to get to first, and I'm going to report on this later on in a more detailed video, but there is something insane going on with James Jones. I don't know if you've heard this report. I'm going to play some of it, and I may have to go back and cut it out after the live stream because the facility is kind of weird when it comes to broadcasting some of their stuff. What's going on, Danny Dodge? But I want to start us off with a bang because James Jones says something about Dak Prescott that is so out of line. And I'm literally shocked that James Jones would stoop to such a level. But I'm going to let you hear what he said, and then I'm going to tell you why James Jones stooped to that level. Why did he stoop to that level? Let me see if we can cue it up here. Now, I want you to hear this. I got it queued up. And this, to me, it is utterly embarrassing. I hope James Jones comes back and retract this. I hope James Jones don't double down on this. I hope James Jones comes back and apologizes to Dak Prescott and says, I mean, really, he's got to come back and say something about this. This is absolutely insane. Listen to this.
Hold on, James.
Wait, whoa. Say it.
This is absolutely disgusting. This is absolutely disgusting. And I'm going to tell you why he's doing it. One, he's a part of FS1. He knows he's not dumb. He knows that this clip is going to garner the facility a lot of attention. He's not dumb by any stretch of the imagination. Imagination. He's not dumb. Gregory, I said it before I got on the air, and you're saying the same thing I said. FS1 is the clickbait network full of sellout pocket-watching ex-athletes. Now, James Jones, he's been pretty good. He's been the one guy on the program, even when they were on the other program. James Jones was the one guy who was always a straight shooter. But I'm going to give you another reason why James Jones is doing this. James Jones was on that Super Bowl team that Mike McCarthy, the wild card Super Bowl team that went and won the Super Bowl. James Jones is a part of that team. He rides for Mike McCarthy. And you know what's so utterly insane? Mike McCarthy is an utter failure for the Cowboys this year. Jerry or no Jerry. Just look at what's going on. He's always been in the mid-20s of penalties. He can't get his team to focus. He can't get them motivated from game to game. He can't come up with a consistent game plan. Mike McCarthy is an utter failure this year. And James Jones loves Mike McCarthy. And so to defend Mike McCarthy in some form or another, he says that Dak Prescott is a quitter. This man should be ashamed of himself. He should be ashamed of himself. And this man should actually call Dak Prescott personally on the phone, and he should apologize. He has no clue what's going on with Dak Prescott's body. He has no clue what's going on with Dak Prescott's body. And to say something like this is so out of pocket. I'm going to tell you something. I'm not even an ex-NFL player. But I'll tell you this. I don't care if I was in the broadcast booth or not. There are just certain things I know as an athlete. And I'm not going to betray those things because now I put on a different hat and start saying things out the side of my neck that I know is not true. You cannot judge one man's body on another man's body. Does everybody realize, if I'm not mistaken, Adrian Peterson did something that is absolutely insane? And we're not talking about going broke. Adrian Peterson tore his ACL, and Adrian Peterson came back, if I'm not mistaken, in 6 months and ran for 2,000 yards the next season. But that's Adrian Peterson. I don't know if anybody else who's ever done that. I don't know if anybody else who's ever done that. And if we were to be walking around comparing everybody to Adrian Peterson, then we would literally have to call everybody soft, a punk, and a faker. Everybody's body is different. And James Jones should know better than anybody. Anybody who does not think that quarterbacks use their legs, you know nothing about quarterbacks. You know absolutely nothing. A quarterback's legs are vital. They are vital to what he does. If he can't throw off his leg, if he can't plant the foot, if he can't make the step, if he can't step into the throw, there's no velocity. That ball is basically a lame duck going through the air. This is one of the most insane takes. And I'm sorry, y'all, but this man needs to be apologizing to one Dak Prescott. Y'all ready? Y'all ready for something? I'm going to show you why James Jones is an absolute nutcase on this. This man is crazy to even say this about Dak Prescott. Jay Recruiter says he's getting killed for those comments. Oh, he need to be banned from television for a week. His bosses need to ban him. If I was at a network and someone said something like that on my network, I'm calling them in the office the same day, not the next. I'm calling them in my office and I'm telling them, don't you ever fix your mouth to say anything like that again. Unless you have proof. I don't want your opinion. I want proof. And if you don't have proof, because a man said we effing suck on the sideline when he's only saying what everybody else is saying, we're saying it, watching it. He's saying it, living it. And don't get mad, James Jones, and get all in your feelings. Because the reason the team sucks is your ex-coach. That's why you're in your feelings. When Dak says we suck, he's talking about the coaching. I'm going to tell y'all something. Jerry Jones, they love Mike McCarthy. They have a lot of respect for him, but they think his coaching stinks. You'd have to be an absolute dummy to think that Mike McCarthy is doing a good job on this team. You'd have to ignore tape. You'd have to ignore practices. You'd have to ignore the record. You'd have to ignore what's going on the field. You would have to be ignoring everything to think that this is not Mike McCarthy's fault. And we're going to put Jerry Jones at the top of it. But I'm going to show you something. Danny says, wait, Dak is faking his hamstring. Is that true? Watch this. I'm going to show you how dumb this man is. Look at this. I mean, Nisi says quitting. Or is this part of Jerry's plan to get Trey Lance on the field? The magic flew in the injury season. I'm going to show y'all something. If Dak doesn't like to play with his team, then something is wrong with his hamstring because coming up with an excuse. You know what? I don't believe for a second that Dak is faking this injury. I don't think he's faking it. Zero excuses. Just what is the root cause of Dak's hate? There's a difference between criticism and hate. This is just pure character assassination. There's no rhyme or reason for it. There's no rhyme or reason. Inflammatory comment. There are no ethical standards at that station. None. There is no reason for this. In the hamstring tear in the same leg that he broke his ankle. See, I'm wondering the same thing. He was also in a boot earlier. There's something wrong and he needs to heal. Sherman, run the ball, we win. We're going to get to that, Sherman. You stay tuned. We're going to get to that. Watch this. Yes, Nisi correct. Watch this. You want to know why I know that James Jones is absolutely crazy? Let me show you what a man looks like when he doesn't want to play with his team. Let me give you Exhibit A. This is Dak Prescott, y'all. Watch this. Did y'all see what Dak Prescott did? Dak Prescott beat his leg against the turf, his ankle against the turf. He tried to knock his own ankle back in place. Watch this again. Dak Prescott tried to knock his ankle. What? James Jones, help me out. I know you're talking about you've had a hamstring before, but have you ever had your foot twisted around backwards? Has your foot ever been twisted around backwards, James Jones, and you beat your ankle against the turf to get it back straight as if you're going to get back in the game? We're thinking this is the guy that's quitting on this team. There is something wrong with the hate that is allowed with Dak Prescott. Who else has been questioned about their injuries? Who else? Who else has been questioned like this? This is insane. And there is no excuse for this. No excuse. It is both Jerry Jones and Mike McCarthy is to blame for this. And that's why I said I'm blaming Mike McCarthy and I'm putting Jerry Jones at the top. Both of them. And the problem I have with Mike McCarthy is he's not controlling the part that he's supposed to be controlling. This man's playbook is atrocious. There's no getting around it. He's definitely not faking it. He's already put on IR. Y'all remember what I said the day before Dak got put on IR? I said there's no way Dak's going on IR because you have to be separated from the team. And so for me, that's telling me that hamstring injury is serious. Because one thing we know about Dak doesn't want to be away from the team. He always wants to put his foot down that he's the unequivocal leader of the team. He never goes on IR. And so for Dak to go on IR, it is definitely serious. And I'm going to tell y'all something. Watch what happens. Dak Prescott is going to be back on the field. I see it happening. Dak's going to be back on the field. And I hope, and I say this with a grain of salt, and I'm going to explain myself in a moment, but I hope that the Dallas Cowboys football team can do what they did the last time that Dak went out and Cooper Rush came in and was the quarterback. And we're going to talk about that in a moment. But I think this thing with James Jones is absolutely incredible. It's just absolutely crazy. I just can't believe someone would be that irresponsible. That's irresponsible, man. You are literally assassinating a person's character, man. This ain't football. That's not a football conversation no more. James Jones and anybody else can say what they want to. This is not a football conversation. When you challenge a person's injury and they're faking it, this is crazy. This is crazy. James Jones needs to apologize to Dak Prescott. He needs to get on that network and apologize. But you know why he's not going to do it? Because he's riding for Mike McCarthy. I'm sorry, I don't see. It shows me how when people are biased, that they're willing to ignore everything. I'm sorry, I don't care if me and Mike was buddies. Mike, you're my friend. I can't ride with you. Man, your play calling is atrocious this year. I can't ride with you, bro. Can't ride with you. Cowboys will not win another Super Bowl. I tell you this, as long as Jerry Jones is running this team, they're never going to win another Super Bowl. James says, Jay Posey says, James is just trying to take up for his guy. See? You see it too, don't you? This is exactly what he's doing. McCarthy, plain and simple. That's all this is. That's all this is. They really think it's commentary to discuss his injury and manhood. They are sad. It's sad. It's disgusting. The Cowboys will not win another Super Bowl. It's disgusting. I'm telling you on every single level. The severity of the injury determines how long it would take to recover. A grade 1 strain may heal in about 3 days, while grades 2 and 3 could take weeks or months. And I'll tell you something about these hamstrings, y'all. They will end your career. They'll end your career. We had a wide receiver by the name of Miles Austin. And I'll never forget, I watched him break out in a game against the Cleveland Browns. Miles Austin was unguardable. And Miles Austin started tearing up the league. Y'all know what took out Miles Austin? Hamstrings. Hamstrings. Year after year after year. And then you throw in he started dating one of the Kardashians. And they seem to be career killers. But Miles Austin, his career was cut short by hamstrings. You don't play with these things. You don't play with these hamstrings, man. Mike McCarthy's using Scott Linehan's playbook because that goes. Man, he throw that thing in the trash. These hamstrings are serious, guys. And you don't want to mess with those. Jay, you're right. McCarthy has no discipline of the offensive line or the offensive period. And Michael, go with Rush. Yeah, we're going to talk about this whole thing about Cooper Rush because Jerry Jones is itching to get Trey Lance out there. He's itching to get Trey Lance out there. And I think Jerry is doing something, and no one wants to admit it. And I've called it a planned demolition. He's not blowing up the team. He's imploding the team. You don't do anything in the trades with trades. We're not talking about the Jonathan Mingo. We're talking about last year. And even this year, he didn't do anything up until the trade deadline. And the trade that he made makes no sense to nobody. He's done nothing in the trades, nothing in free agency. Drafts have been terrible. Lame duck coaches all around, going with young players 2-3 years in the league that were backups to all of your depth from last year. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take everything away from you, and I'm not going to explode it. I'm going to implode it. I'm going to let it fall in on itself. It'll be safe, even though we've lost Dak. It'll be safe, and it'll be organic. And be careful. There may be a reason that Jerry doesn't want to play Cooper Rush, because Cooper Rush probably gives you, and I'm going to say probably, but there are some who believe that Cooper Rush gives you a better chance to win. And I don't think Jerry Jones wants to win. I think Jerry Jones wants to give the appearance of wanting to win. But I don't think Jerry Jones wants to win, because if y'all don't think that Jerry Jones is salivating, Jerry Jones would love to pick in the top 5, the top 7 of the draft. He would love to, and he's working his way toward it. Sherman said, I remember when Dak went down with the hand and the offense went down and Dak came back and went back up. We're going to talk about that. You remember when Dak broke the thumb in the Tampa Bay game? Dak was back way before that injury typically says you heal. I think Dak's going to be back. I think Dak's going to be back quicker than we think. Rush is a better passer than Cooper Rush. We're going to talk about that. Big Mike said today they were not determined if he's going. Big Mike said today that they have not determined if he's going on IR. Okay, you're talking about Dak Prescott? Okay, I thought he was already on there. Okay, I'm going to check into that. And I may talk about that in the afternoon, in the evening. Yep, Miles was a beast, number 19, man. The hamstrings took him out. As long as the team is being ran like this and not a change in sight equals no bows. No, it's not going to happen. Don't watch football anymore when Jerry Jones' net worth of Jimmy Johnson. You got rid of Jimmy. So the James Jones thing, I'm going to continue to monitor it. I'm going to continue to monitor it. I want to see if James Jones is going to be classy enough to come back and apologize and say that he was just being emotional and that he has no evidence, because he doesn't. He doesn't know what this man is doing. He has no evidence that this man is faking this injury. I hope he retracts those statements, even though I'm hearing he's doubling down. Y'all remember what I told y'all I've been joking around with a couple of weeks, and I said, y'all going to call me a prophet before it's over? J. Poe said I was thinking the same thing. He doesn't want to win, but doesn't want the rest of the Cowboy Nation to know that. We've been talking about it on here, Jay. We've been talking about it ad nauseum. I've been saying this for 2-3 weeks. Playing demolition. You don't explode it. You put the explosives on the inside and you let it implode on itself. It's not that I want to, I want to lose, but I don't want it to look like I'm trying to lose. And that's why Jerry, listen what he keeps saying. I'm confident in Mike McCarthy. He don't have a contract. I'm confident in the players. They're out there messing up left and right. I like the guys we have. Yeah, because I plan on some of them not being here next year. Because if I like the guys I have, y'all explain to me, why did we go and I'm not going to say waste, but we overspent for a 3rd round graded wide receiver. Why did we spend a 4th round draft pick on a 3rd round graded receiver who has not even caught for 200 yards this entire season with the Carolina Panthers? If I like the guys that I had, why did I go and trade for Mingo? Make it make sense, y'all. Make it make sense. What's going on, Brother Roderick? Appreciate that super sticker, brother. Y'all tell me. 100 underlined twice. I'm telling you. But again, y'all gonna call me a prophet before it's all said and done. I got something else to show you. I've been saying this, and I don't think anybody is believing me. But I'm going to show you something that Adam Schefter is reporting today. Y'all ready for this? Tell me I didn't tell you this 2 weeks ago. Fish Sports. I see Schefter, fresh off of his Micah trade talk story. Now, I'm going to tell you what Fish is doing. Fish is not a big fan of Adam Schefter. And so when he puts that Micah trade talk story, I think what Fish is saying is he don't really believe it. But I do believe it. I do believe the teams probably called Jerry Jones and asked, hey, are you going to trade Micah? And I still don't understand. I'm just going to keep it a beam. If I got phone calls about Micah Parsons and they were offering two number twos and a 3, I'm taking that trade. And I'm sure there were probably people who were calling to see what would it take for you to trade Micah Parsons. Because man, let me tell you something. And Nisi and I have been talking about this Dan Campbell thing. Y'all see what he gave up for Lattimore? What the Commanders gave up for Lattimore? I would not be surprised. Gotcha, Danny. I would not be surprised if the Commanders called about Micah Parsons. Why not? Why not call about Micah Parsons? Y'all don't think that Dan Quinn hears the things that Micah Parsons say? Here's the things that Trayvon Diggs say? Always showing their affinity for Dan Campbell? Showing their affinity for Dan Quinn? You don't think that he might have picked up the phone and called Jerry and said, hey, man, what would it take to get Micah Parsons? I believe it, but that's not what I want to talk about. Is now reporting that Jerry Jones doesn't plan on firing Mike McCarthy. Check my channel. I did a video last week about it. I keep saying it. I'm not going to be surprised. I'm not going to be surprised, y'all, if Jerry Jones keeps Mike McCarthy. This is my reply to Fish. I've been saying this for 2 weeks. I won't believe Jerry let him go until Jerry let him go. I'm not going to believe it. I'm not going to believe it. I have got to see it. Because do we not realize there's actually been no indicator other than he doesn't have a contract. Jerry did the same thing to Jason Mr. Clapper Garrett. I'm telling us, I keep telling the fan base, anybody that's listening over here, y'all better prepare yourselves. You think you're disgusted with the Dallas Cowboys now? Wait until the offseason. Wait until the offseason. Now Washington going to the playoff team. Oh, yeah. I'm telling y'all. Y'all better get ready. Dan Quinn probably talked to Parsons direct than Jerry. Nisi? I guarantee you Schefter is not reporting this just based on a whim. If there is anybody that I believe that probably called Jerry about Micah Parsons, it's Dan Quinn. Y'all know why? Because Dan Quinn knew that team had talent. and the only thing they needed was one or two more players, and that would have been a super team. That team, I'm telling y'all, the Dallas Cowboy team last year, it was 2 players away from being a Super Bowl super team. If they would have got another running back to go along with Pollard, because Rico could not stay healthy last year, if they would have had another running back with Pollard, that's all they needed. And if Jerry Jones would have got Dan Quinn what he wanted, all he wanted was Bobby Wagner. Just Bobby Wagner. Bobby Wagner would have made a huge difference on that Dallas defense last year. And Jerry could have ran this back. I mean, he wouldn't even have to run it back. If he would have just added those 2 positions to that team last year. And maybe if you could find a wide receiver. But I don't think you need the wide receiver if you got the running back. If you got the running back, then even Brandon Cooks would have been efficient enough last year. They were probably 2 players away from a Super Bowl team, and Jerry didn't run it back. Jerry didn't run it back. And so again, you have to ask yourself, if Jerry is the one who didn't get any trades, he didn't bring in Aaron Jones. Now we know that McCarthy wanted Aaron Jones. He didn't bring in Derrick Henry. He didn't get Devontae Adams. He didn't get Amari Cooper. He didn't get Hassan Reddick. And the Mingo trade is for next year, y'all. Don't get your mind blown. That's not for this year. Mingo is future plans. If I know I have handicapped you, is it really your fault? Somebody said it in the chat yesterday. Do y'all know how hard it is to find a yes man? It's hard to find a true yes man. Jerry doesn't seem to want another Jimmy Johnson in here. He doesn't want a Bill Belichick in here. He doesn't want a disciplinarian in here. He doesn't want anyone to have the true authority of a coach. This is what we're watching. Dan Quinn probably talked to pauses. Yeah, he did. I bet you he did too. Actually, all 3 of the quarterbacks in Dallas are above average. I would agree. With Dak being way above average. I won't be surprised if we have another Jason Garrett on our hands. He did it to Jason Garrett. And if I'm not mistaken, Jason Garrett didn't have a great season that season. Wasn't it 8-8? If I'm not mistaken, that season wasn't great, and Jerry wound up re-signing him. Jay Recruiter, he's going to make Big Mike a walk-around coach. I will not be surprised. I will not be surprised. I've been saying it. I got rid of Parsons' jersey in the dumpster because I'm telling us. I guarantee you there were teams that called. There were teams that called. I wouldn't even be surprised if Dan Campbell called. That GM for the Detroit Lions, man, he doing work over there. Dallas offensive line has to protect better. And you know how you can protect them better, Mike? Run the ball. Just run the ball. He needs to go. Andre, I'm telling you, don't hold your breath. Jerry feels that there's no need to fire Mike because he's just not going to re-sign him. You know what? I'm going to believe it when I see it. I'm going to believe it when I see it because you listen to some of the stuff that Jerry is saying. Jerry is a clown. It's a circus. I mean, it is. It's a circus all the time. Tampa Bay won a Super Bowl and brought that team back to go for another Super Bowl. I don't understand why Jerry didn't do that. You got to bring that team back. Let me tell you, I said it before, I say it again. If I'm Dak Prescott and Jerry Jones gives me this option, tell you what, Dak, we'll give you 2 options. We'll extend you, and we'll make you the highest paid quarterback in the league. Or we'll run this team back. We'll get you a linebacker, a running back, and another wide receiver. And if you can take us to the Super Bowl, then we'll make you the highest paid quarterback in the league. Which one y'all think Dak taking? Because I tell you which one I'm taking. Run it back. Run it back. because I'm going to get the money. I'm going to get the money whether you give it to me or not, Jerry. Run it back. Bring that team back. I'll take them this time. But you got to get me somebody to stop the run. Get us somebody that can run. I think Pollard would have came back. I mean, you look at what we have right now. I'm sorry, I'd have re-signed Pollard. Pollard can say anything he want to. Oh, it was distractions, and oh, I'm in a place right now where I'm better mentally and spiritually and physically. Miss me. You're in a place where you got the money. You are a loser over there. You only won one game, and they'll be done with you next year. Tony Pollard, you can't tell me that you're satisfied with the money and you don't want to win. Jerry would have paid Tony Pollard, which is very unusual, because Jerry loves to re-sign his own. If Jerry would have re-signed Tony Pollard, gave him a 2-year deal, somewhere around $12, $13 million. Hey, I'll give you 2 years, $12, $13 million with incentives. This team looks a lot better. This team looks a lot better with Tony Pollard, I believe. And then you have Rico Dowdle running like he's running now. I'm sorry. I'd have ran this team back. I would have ran it back from last year. But Jerry has decided that he's going to do a soft rebuild. No, it's a planned demolition. If Jerry is keeping Mike McCarthy, like you said, it's to implode the team. There is no other reason. Do y'all know a lot of coaches won't go along with that stuff? I want y'all to follow this. I heard Brian Broaddus talking about this, and it makes so much sense. Do we really think all these coaches on this team want to lose? Do we really think all these coaches on this team want to lose? Because I can tell you the way I'm watching Mike Zimmer, I'm going to defend Mike Zimmer. People can say what they want to say. Mike Zimmer, ever since the second half of that Baltimore Ravens game, boy, Mike Zimmer been balling. He's lost the control of a couple of quarters. The Detroit game, he didn't have Eric Kendricks. The San Francisco game, that's Mike McCarthy's fault. Pass in the third quarter. The Atlanta Falcon game, that's Mike McCarthy's fault. And Fossil, fake punt for no reason in the third quarter on your own end of the field. Fake punt, went down 21-10. Now it's all she wrote. Mike Zimmer's been balling with less. He's been balling. Y'all really think Mike Zimmer want to lose? Do y'all think Al Harris wants to lose? Do y'all think any of these other coaches on the team, Brian Schottenheimer, do y'all think they want to lose? You know why they don't want to lose? Because there's life after the Dallas Cowboys. They want to get new jobs. And who wants to hire you when you've been the coach on an absolutely sorry team? They want to win. They want their positions, whatever they're coaching, they want it to look good. They want it to look good. There's only one coach that I can see out there right now that may be a part of this dumbness. And the only way I could see him being a part of this dumbness is that he knows that he's coming back, or there's a possibility that he's coming back. Because I'm watching Mike McCarthy, y'all, and it don't look like he's trying to win games. If he was trying to win games, he would go back to the Mike McCarthy of the bye week from last year after the bye week, or he would go to the Mike McCarthy of the Pittsburgh Steelers game, and he won't give us that consistently. He seems like he wants to lose too. Jerry can't do trades because he messed the money up with the cap for years to come with those two big cuts. Nope, Ted, not giving it to you. Not giving it to you. Do you not understand that they're going to have $100 million in cap space next year? Just by doing these two deals, they will now have $100 million on the cap. And they have mechanisms on these contracts that if they flip buttons, do you realize they can free up even more money on the cap? We got to stop listening to these 3 and 4 letter networks, and definitely stop listening to the Joneses. It is not those contracts. Because if it's those contracts, we've already ran through this on this channel, then you got to tell me how the Detroit Lions have went and signed in excess of 6 players and they are paid at the top of their positions. Y'all better stop listening to the Joneses. Y'all better stop feeding into the media because they make these things in the story too. But there's a lady that was on the NFL Network, I think it is, and she said no. She said she's calling cap on this. She said this is total mismanagement of the cap. Not just in the past, but currently. The Joneses are not capologists. They may be great businessmen, but they have proven they're not capologists. Because if you're going to talk to me about the cap, tell me how the Eagles did it. How did they do it? How did they sign Devontae Smith? They re-signed AJ to another extension, gave Jalen Hurts his money, gave Saquon Barkley his money. You got to explain it then. Why can't the Cowboys do it? We got the audacity to let the Joneses off the hook for signing 2 players and other teams are signing 4, 5, and 6 players. I'm not giving nobody none of this cap talk. You don't know the cap. We've been looking at this stuff on this channel. You don't know the cap. You can see when you look at these contracts, it's the Joneses' fault. I can remember it like yesterday. The Joneses sitting up, spinning and grinning in a press conference talking about, well, we're going to see where the leaves fall before we start signing contracts. What? Stephen Jones, well, we don't want to set the market. Why not? That's exactly what you want to do. You set the market. You set the market so everyone has to come behind you. You don't let them set the market because that means your prices go up. Man, y'all gotta start learning this stuff, man. Y'all stay on this channel. I'll show you some things. You gotta stop listening to these people who hate Dak Prescott. Stop listening to the 3 and 4 letter networks all about the clicks. Stop listening to the Joneses because anybody who live in this DFW area like I have, like I'm living now, and we've been around here for years, we know what the Joneses do around here. They negotiate contracts in the court of public opinion, trying to shame players, talking about they should be taking discounts and it's all about playing in Dallas. No, it's their fault. It's not Dak Prescott's job to manage the cap. That's Jerry and Stevens. Nisi says, Danny, I haven't put my Parsons jersey at all this season. Dan Quinn knew that they weren't serious about winning when they didn't bring Bobby Wagner in. Oh, right there. Right there, that's when Dan was done. Dan was done. LaDainian Tomlinson agreed with Stephon Gilmore. LaDainian Tomlinson said it too. He said Dan Quinn threw that game for that Green Bay Packer game. He threw it. He threw it on purpose because he wanted that Washington job. He didn't want that job to keep dangling out there because if he's still coaching, it limits him on how much he can talk to the team. LaDainian Tomlinson said it. He threw the game for the job. Dan Quinn even insinuated as much, not as in throwing it, but saying, tired of the Joneses. I wanted to go to a team that wanted to win. What are you talking about, Dan? A team that'll make moves. A team that will get free agents. A team that will make trades. A team that will listen to me and get me the doggone players I want. That's why Dan Quinn gone. Lewis says, I wonder if they're going to be smart and play Trey Lance. We're going to talk about that in a moment. Jay Army says, I will still never get over the fact that we were so close to a Super Bowl team last year. Then this year, Jerry could care less about winning while saying, I feel bad for the fans. No, he doesn't. I'm with you. All Jerry had to do was run that team back. That's all he had to do. Run that team back. And we're not even having these conversations. Michael may walk scot-free. Don't be surprised if he can't. He can't. Ted, you got to understand how contracts work. Stay with me. You're going to learn some things. He can't. When you get drafted in the first round, you can't walk away. They own you. They not only own you for the length of your contract, they also got 2 franchise tags on you, depending upon where you're drafted. Michael Parsons couldn't walk away if he wanted to. They own him. And people can say anything they want to. I absolutely love what Dak Prescott did to the Dallas Cowboys. He put that no trade clause in. I absolutely love it. You gonna play with me? You gonna make me play out 2 franchise tags, make me turn my ankle around backwards, got me playing on a contract year? Okay, I'm gonna tell you what I'm gonna do. If you do sign me, see, y'all gotta understand something for all you Dak Prescott haters. And I'm not saying y'all are Dak Prescott haters, but there may be a couple of them out there. Do y'all know that Todd Francis cannot put the Dallas Cowboys in a chokehold unless there are other teams that want Dak Prescott? Let that sink in. Dak Prescott can't walk in Jerry's office and say, Jerry Jones, I want a no trade clause. I want a no trade clause on my contract because of this, and this. And Jerry Jones say, okay, because you're a good guy, Dak Prescott. You're a good guy, Dak Prescott. I like you. You got it. Because anybody who watched how Jerry Jones has actually treated Dak Prescott compared to Tony Romo, Jerry has always kind of shown that he's been apprehensive about signing Dak Prescott. Even this year when he signed him, y'all tell me what GM/owner says this. We're going to pay him his money, but he's going to have to do more with less. Make it make sense. Who says that? When he signed the first deal, he said, I know I overpaid you. Who says that? Do we not realize Dak can't get that no trade clause unless Todd Francis, who is an absolute genius, y'all, trust me, Brandon Aubrey, the kicker for the Dallas Cowboys, who some are saying he's the best player on the team. He now has Todd Francis as his agent. We better say bye-bye to Brandon Aubrey. If not, Brandon Aubrey is about to be paid. He's about to be the highest paid kicker in the league, and I don't blame him. The Cowboys got him on food stamps right now. Brandon Aubrey, they got this man on food stamps right now. Understandably, because he wasn't playing NFL football at the time. They got him on food stamps right now. But they're going to pay the piper for him. They're going to pay the piper for Brandon Aubrey. But as it applies to Dak Prescott, he can't get that deal unless Todd Francis goes out, puts those feelers out, and sees who wants Dak Prescott. I'm going to teach y'all some things about football because some folk, they are just blinded by the light as that song goes. Y'all think Jerry Jones paid Dak Prescott simply because he wanted to? Because if Dak Prescott is as terrible as the Dak haters, the Dallas Cowboy loving, Tony Romo loving, Dak Prescott haters say he is, there is no way he gets another contract, this time $60 million, with another no trade clause. You know how he got it? Because Jerry knew full well there were other teams that wanted Dak Prescott. And let me tell you what Jerry Jones don't want to happen. What he don't want to happen He does not want Dak Prescott to go to another team. Because I'm telling y'all, Kyle Shanahan and Lynch, John Lynch, you don't believe me? They were salivating at the idea that Dak Prescott would have hit free agency. They were salivating because they're a quarterback away. And there are teams out there that are looking at Dak Prescott saying, if we had him on our team, we'd win the Super Bowl. The Pittsburgh Steelers were one of those teams. Dak Prescott would have hit free agency. I promise y'all, I would have loved to seen it. There would have been teams with quarterbacks that would have been trading left and right saying, we want Dak Prescott. Everybody in the league knows what the Dallas Cowboy, Dak Prescott haters fans, the Dak Prescott haters won't admit. Dak Prescott is actually top 5 in this league. Peyton Manning will tell you, Aaron Rodgers will tell you, Tom Brady will tell you, and I believe people who have had success at the position, they will tell you. It's not those contracts. It's not those contracts. Everybody else is doing it. Everybody else is doing it. They know how to do it. The Kansas City Chiefs signed Patrick Mahomes to a 10-year, $500 million deal. How did they do it? They know how to manage the cap. And they keep going back in that contract. And you know what they keep doing? They keep redoing that contract, and people don't even realize it. They keep redoing that contract because they keep giving them raises here and there. And I find it to be strange. They keep putting players around him. They couldn't keep Tyreek Hill, but they keep putting players around him. Now they got him a defense. I'm telling you, we don't understand what we're saying. Nisi has been saying it best. You know what the problem is and why people are uneducated when it comes to the cap? Because we got an owner who is not a GM, who cannot manage the cap or refuses to manage the cap, telling us about the cap. And so we're thinking these things, but we don't understand something. We're talking what they're talking. But anybody who knows contracts, the Joneses are liars. Dallas Cowboy football is not fun right now. Nope. I need to get back to having fun. And naturally, I will come. The win's too much. It's a lot. It's a lot of politics going on right now. Roster full of Mingos and sack-face fans. Danny says also the reverse play for CeeDee Lamb not going anywhere against the Falcons because Danny, who doesn't know that when CeeDee Lamb is either in the backfield or CeeDee Lamb goes in motion from right to left, lines up in the slot, comes in motion from the left before the snap, who doesn't know CeeDee Lamb is about to run a jet sweep? The Falcons was looking at the Dallas Cowboys going, they are exactly what they are on tape. A vanilla 30-year-old offense. It was like taking candy from a baby. Andre says, so if we got blowed out by the Eagles, you think Mike McCarthy will still be here? The fact that they got blew out by the Lions, blew a lead with the 49ers, the way they lost the game with the Falcons. If McCarthy is not fired yet, Jerry is riding with him the entire season. And why wouldn't he? He's got an excuse now. Oh, Dak Prescott didn't play. That'll be the scapegoat. And Jerry's going to continue to justify Mike McCarthy. He's going to continue to justify him. Nisi says the coaches and players need to decide and show their football team on an entertainment group. And I'm going to tell you somebody who I think's doing that, Mike Zimmer. And I'm going to show you something here in just a moment about Mike Zimmer. Mike Zimmer ain't playing, man. Mike Zimmer ain't playing. The Joneses don't know how to cook the books. Everybody but them. Everybody but them can cook the books. And also the reverse play. See, yeah, we saw that for sure, Dan. This is my favorite channel. Appreciate you, Danny. Appreciate you. Solar says, diehard Cowboys fans here in Frisco, Texas don't care about a market. We care about the star and what's best for us, not what another team does. And I said it, Solar. I said it. See, we don't understand. Jerry is playing two markets. He's working the fan base while appeasing the fan base that hates the team. He's appeasing the haters and the lovers of the Cowboys. Most teams don't do that. We do. We do. Because we're I don't know anybody else like the Cowboys. You either love to like us or you love to hate us. I don't know of no other team like that. And Jerry knows it's like that. So he plays both sides of the fence. Washington is going to play tough teams. I tell you this. They might play some tough teams. Boy, Dan Quinn. Woo-wee. Watch what I tell y'all. Watch what I tell y'all when we play Washington. I don't care if they bring Tom Brady out of retirement. I don't care if we get Patrick Mahomes on loan for a week. Boy, Dan Quinn is salivating to play the Dallas Cowboys twice this year. Y'all think Detroit did it to us? Dan the man coming up in here, boy, to put foots in Jerry Jones. Dan gonna try to put foots in Jerry Jones. Revelation says the apathy of the Cowboy fan base is Jerry Jones' kryptonite. Andre said Michael Parsons will have a great game. A great game is contract time. Tell you this, Andre. He better. If Michael Parsons doesn't improve from what he was before this injury, Michael Parsons and Jerry Jones going to be going round and round. Because I don't know about y'all, but I'm not paying him. I'm not paying Michael Parsons top defensive end money. Bro, you got to be on the level of Bosa. I'm not doing it. I'm not doing it. Pat Mahomes won't set the market because he like winning Super Bowls. Don't let Pat Mahomes fool you, bro. He don't have to set the market. Look at what he's making. You don't have to set the market. Not to mention, another reason why he wants to win Super Bowls, he also knows he's got one of the greatest, if not the best coach in the league. Pat Mahomes knows what's going on. But they quietly, every other season, they go in and they tweak that contract. Don't act like Patrick Mahomes is doing the Tom Brady deals over here. Patrick Mahomes not taking no $20 million. I mean, if we want to talk about somebody who was grossly underpaid, it was Tom Brady. Tom Brady was taking half of a contract. And what made Tom Brady mad towards the end, as he got older, he started realizing something about Bill Belichick. Where was the money going? Where was the money going? And that's why for the Dallas Cowboys, they got $20 million under the cap now. What are they doing with it? They're saving it for next year? Why? You're going to have $100 million under the cap next year. You can't manage that? This ownership can't be trusted to. This ownership can't be trusted to manage cap money. They can't even manage the cap. As we're talking about this, I want to go to another report. But I'm telling y'all, we better get ready. We better get ready for this issue with Mike McCarthy. Because if you're frustrated now, Fish can say, I don't even know kind of where his mind, I'm gonna watch his show today and see where his mindset is on this, but Fish can say anything he wants to say. I'm going to be surprised if Jerry lets go of Mike McCarthy. And I've been saying it. I'm just not going to believe it until I see it. Jerry, I'm going to just say, for lack of a better term, Jerry tripping, y'all. Jerry tripping, man. There's just no other way to size this up. Jerry tripping. That's it. There's no other way to say it. Jerry been tripping up in here. So I really don't know what Jerry gonna do. But I'm not gonna be surprised until Jerry shows he's going to let go of Mike McCarthy. And the only way I believe it is if I see it. I'm not gonna be shocked if he keeps him. I'm just not gonna be shocked. Micah, you know what, Nisi and Andre? Micah Michael really does need to ball out because Michael does way too much talking. I don't mind the person talking. Muhammad Ali talked all the time. But he also coined the phrase, how can you call it bragging when you're telling the truth? Muhammad Ali told folk, I'm not bragging. I'm telling the truth. So Micah Parsons, if he going to do all the talking that he does, to me, when you talk like that, then you got to walk like that. You got to walk in a way to where when you're talking, people go, hey, man, I don't mind him talking. Why? Because he's an absolute beast. Can't nobody stop him. But, I've noticed something about those guys who really be beast out there on the field. The thing that I find that they all seem to have this same trait. They actually don't do a lot of talking. They doing too much talking on the field, too much talking on the court, too much talking on the diamond, too much talking on the soccer field. You find these elite players, man, they don't do a lot of talking. Lewis, running back and add another player or two, and we would have been in the running, no doubt. Could y'all imagine with the team we had last year and with the way the NFC looks right now? What team right now that from the team from last year looks like we couldn't stop him? See, the juggernaut has been the San Francisco 49ers. I still don't put Detroit as a juggernaut like the 49ers were because we saw the 49ers. But I think Detroit is on the way because the Ben Johnson kid, he's very cocky. He has a great playbook. Dan Campbell is an absolute football player. He said, oh, yeah, I told the fools that. He's an absolute football player in a coach. He still got a football player's mind, being a coach. And so Dan Campbell, that whole staff, the GM, everybody, they're on the same page. They want to win. Don't agree with you, Ted. I mean, you can see, you're entitled to your opinion, but you tell me what above average quarterback has been runner-up MVP of the league. Tell me who it is. Second team All-Pro. Tell me that average or above average quarterback. Tell me who it is. I posed this question on X and nobody can answer it. You don't do what Dak Prescott has done in this league with the play callers that he's had, the coaches that he's had, and be average to above average. You're not that. And when Peyton Manning says it, Aaron Rodgers says it, Tom Brady says it, I'm taking their opinion over you. Their opinion over you and anybody who says that. What's going on, Jeanette? Appreciate you, Sherman. Dodgers know how to manage and sign in contract. You better believe they do. Tony Romo will tell you about Dak if he wasn't still in the field. Dak a beast on that field. People that don't like Dak don't know football. People who know football love Dak. People who know football love Dak Prescott. Greg says people forget if it wasn't for the issue Dak had before the draft, he would have been at the end of the first round, pick high second. No doubt. What up, Spider-Man? What up? The Cowboys really need to rebuild around Dak, get him some weapons. That's the problem. Everybody else who gets a quarterback builds around him. We're the only team that's not doing it. Quinn got Commanders believing in themselves because he's a motivator. That is one thing that he is. And that's what Micah Parsons and Trayvon Diggs, whether they realize it or not, that's the part they're missing with Dan Quinn. Because Dan Quinn would not only tell you to play, he wouldn't only tell you to move. I saw it on film. Dan Quinn gets on the field, does the moves, mixes it up with the players. Dan Quinn out there doing dumb stuff he too old to be doing. And that's why those defenses would run through walls for Dan Quinn. Jerry's not going to do anything right now because he cannot compete against the 2024 election. You better stop playing, because do you realize that Jerry Jones could have did some things before the Olympics, and Jerry Jones didn't do those things because Jerry don't want to compete with the Olympics? I'm telling you, there's something to be said about that. Let that settle down, and he will jump right back into the spotlight. Nick Foles won Super Bowl MVP. You know what? In Nick Foles, you got to think about something, Marlon Brando. Love the name. You got to think about something, Marlon Brando. Anybody ever paid attention to the team that was around Nick Foles? Go look at the team. Not just offensively. Look at the team that was around Nick Foles. Oh, and by the way, the head coach / play caller, perfect storm. Perfect storm. Perfect storm. Nick Foles didn't even last in the league 2 years after that. They got a statue of him in Philadelphia. Nick Foles didn't hardly do anything after that. It was the perfect storm. It's all it was. United States sold out for the money, thinking we were going to get money or putting Trump in office again. Well, I'll tell you this. I don't know about any of that other stuff, but you ain't got to worry about it. If it's about the money, Trump going to get it. Trump going to get it. Trump going to get it. He's definitely going to get it. What's going on, Angie? So I want to spend the last few minutes. I want to talk about this issue with Cooper Rush. It needs to be talked about. I am tired of these Dallas Cowboy fans. And I'm not tired of Dallas Cowboy fans. I'm tired of these Dallas Cowboy fans who keep trying to make Cooper Rush into some kind of mythological unicorn, thinking that Cooper Rush is about to come in for the Dallas Cowboys and he's about to save the season. And I don't understand the Cooper Rush fan base. And I think the fan base is because they hate Dak Prescott. Because it can't be his performance. Because I'm going to show you, if you're saying it's his performance, you're fooling yourself. The Cooper Rush mythology has to stop. He's a backup quarterback. He's a backup quarterback. That's all he's ever been. And nobody will answer the question. It's strange. Nobody can answer the question. If Cooper Rush is this mythological unicorn, first player in Dallas Cowboy history to win his first 5 starts, this mythological unicorn, I'm going to ask these same 2 questions again. Why is he still with the Dallas Cowboys? Why is he still with the Dallas Cowboys? Do we realize we're in a quarterback-starved league? Quarterback-starved. Cooper Rush has been with the Cowboys his entire career. Nobody, and I mean nobody, has come to the Dallas Cowboys. Watch this. The Cowboys gave up a 4th-round draft pick for Trey Lance, unproven. Unproven. So you're telling me that no team has offered a 7th, a 6th, a 5th. We don't even have to go anything below that. They haven't offered anything for Cooper Rush. Explain that. And I'm saying that because we need to really bring our expectations down. And there are numerous reasons why I know people have this conclusion. There are some who hate Dak Prescott. There are some mad because Dak Prescott took Tony Romo's spot. There are some that I believe there is a racial component to it. For whatever reason, you can tell me anything you want to. If the mythological unicorn Cooper Rush, if he's that good, how does he be a career backup? Tell me where they do that at. Tell me, where can you be top 10, top 20, even top 30 in your field, and you never get the opportunity to shine? No one has said, let's give Cooper Rush an opportunity. You know, it's funny. Everybody was saying that when his contract came up, because his contract came up, you do know the Cowboys let him go out there and shop a contract. And people were saying, well, the Raiders may want him. Do you know the Raiders didn't want him? Marlon Brando, you can't look better than someone you're not better than. You can say anything you want to say. But if you're not better than me, you can't look better than me. There's nothing no one can do to make you look better than me. And the reality of the Cooper Rush mythology, if he ever in his life looked better than Dak Prescott, he wouldn't be backing up Dak Prescott. This is foolishness. It's foolishness. And these are the types of things that make it hard for people to root for someone, because we know the foolishness that will come with if Cooper Rush wins 3 games. It will be absolute madness and mayhem, because everybody will be saying, I told you he was better than Dak. Well, if he's better than Dak, why is behind Dak? So we're telling me this. All of the NFL scouts, all of them, the Dallas Cowboy loving, Dak Prescott hating, Cooper Rush loving fans, you're telling me you're sitting on your couch watching TV, whatever you do, you're telling me you're smarter than all of the NFL scouts. I'm going to tell you it's not true. You're not smarter. They know what they're looking at. Cooper Rush is a backup. And this is the part that is even more amazing to me. Do you get a backup to win, or do you get a backup to lose? Y'all help me out. I need my Jeopardy music. Do I get a backup to win, or do I get a backup to lose? Y'all help me out. Give me an answer in the chat. Jay, I'm with you. Stand-up guy. But he don't have the defense that was in play. Oh! Jay Pose, welcome to Let's Talk Cowboys, where we talk facts. He doesn't have the defense he had. Cooper Rush, I'm going to say it like it is, was below average. Below average. He was below average. Can Cooper Rush make some good throws? You better believe he can. I'm going to tell you something. I'm not going to hate on him like that. But hold on a second. Hold on. Last I checked, Cooper Rush was an NFL quarterback. Why are we surprised that he can actually make some great throws? He's an NFL quarterback. why are we surprised that he can make some great throws? I get a backup quarterback not to hold the team down and lose. I get a backup quarterback because when my quarterback goes down, I want him to win. Watch this. J. Pose, let me add to something that you said. No, you're not hearing me, Marlon. You got to listen to what I'm telling you. I want them to win. But the problem is with the delusional Dak Prescott haters, then we create a whole nother discussion because then we start saying that Dak Prescott, that Cooper Rush is better than Dak Prescott when he's not. And if he is, then why are all the other teams when Dak Prescott was going to hit the market? Y'all got to see how I set this entire discussion up. Dak Prescott can't get that contract coming off of a broke foot. Dak Prescott can't get this $60 million deal. Dak Prescott can't get a no-trade clause on the first deal and then a no-trade clause on the second deal. Dak can't do what he's doing in these contracts unless not only his performance says it, but watch this. Do you think Todd Francis is dumb enough to go to Jerry Jones and Stephen Jones and say, these are my demands, unless he can say? And I've been asking around. And if you don't do it, I got 10 other teams that will. Do we not understand this? I'm giving us basic negotiation. You cannot negotiate if there's nothing to negotiate. How do you do it, y'all? Oh, I know how he did it. Dak Prescott negotiated those deals because he just looks good. Oh, he's a good guy. Everybody likes him. Well, I don't think everybody likes him. I don't necessarily know what kind of guy, but I can tell you this. Dak Prescott is with the Dallas Cowboys and have signed these deals because of his play on the field and because there is a huge market. And they have said it not once but twice on both of Dak Prescott's contracts. If the Dallas Cowboys don't sign Dak Prescott, Troy Aikman even said it. Oh, Dak's going to be a $60 million quarterback because Troy Aikman even acknowledges that Dak Prescott's not an above average quarterback. He's not a good quarterback. Troy Aikman will tell you Dak Prescott's a great quarterback. Now, for all y'all trying to talk about Dak Prescott, again, the same way I took Troy Aikman's opinion over Mike McCarthy, which wasn't opinion but fact, I'm going to take Troy Aikman's analysis over any of your hating of Dak Prescott. I'll take that every single day because what y'all say don't hold water. But what Troy Aikman says holds water. The House of Bethorian. I like that name. Dak is struggling to do the one thing. Talent drain. This roster does not have the same level of talent it had 2 or 3 years ago. No. Now I'm gonna have to correct you, House of Bethorian. You can't say that to Dak Prescott haters because Dak Prescott is the only quarterback that everyone wants to win with less. And every other quarterback, they get to have all the weapons they want to. They get to have the best coach, the best play callers. And then they get every excuse when they lose with those things. Not Dak Prescott. Dak Prescott got to win with the mess that we keep talking about, this Jerry Jones. Dak Prescott got to win in spite of Mike McCarthy. Poor play design, poor play calling. Dak Prescott's got to continue to win, even though he's only got one wide receiver in the top 100. Everyone else is below 100. No running game, no offensive line, no defensive line. Dak Prescott has to win despite all of that. That's what we say about Dak Prescott. And this is the problem, Andre. You're hitting it on the head. He's not better than Dak Prescott. But only in Dallas, y'all. Only in Dallas. We spent the entire training camp talking about the third string quarterback. That's what you do in Dallas. You know what you do in Dallas when the quarterback goes down? You start rooting for the backup quarterback because you say, even though no other team in the league says it, no other team has offered him a contract, no other team has tried to poach him from the Cowboys, he tested free agency, nobody want him, not even the lowly Las Vegas Raiders, but in Dallas, the quarterback goes down and everybody roots for the backup quarterback because he's better than the starter. This is life in Dallas. This is life in Dallas. I give Dak Prescott credit. James Jones can say anything he wants to say about Dak Prescott. You have to want to play in Dallas. He had to want to play in Dallas. Because I'm sure Dak Prescott could have went to a better situation. Let's see both quarterbacks mix it up desperation style. Go out swinging type of game. Trey gives us our best shot. Rush is boring. Y'all know Jerry Jones is saying the same thing, right? We're about to watch the battle between Mike McCarthy and Jerry Jones grow even larger. Because Mike McCarthy announced that Cooper Rush is our quarterback the rest of the way. We have supreme confidence in him. He's a well-respected backup in this league. Did y'all notice what he said? Well-respected backup in this league. And Jerry Jones is on the radio saying, Trey Lance gives us punch. Oh, we about to see the Trey Lance package, y'all. We're going to see the Trey Lance package. It's contract time for Cooper Rush. We'll see what Cooper Rush do. Well, we saw it last time. We saw it. Rush drives the bus. Dak drives the Ferrari. Watch this. Let me tell you something. You put a Ferrari, I said it yesterday, ride a Ferrari in the city limits, and you drive a Hyundai Sonata in the city limits, you'll think the Hyundai Sonata drive better. Ferrari's made for the freeway, man. It ain't made for all these lights and stops and braking and riding 40 miles an hour. That's not what it's for. You're not even going to get that thing out of third gear barely. You might not even make it to third gear. Meanwhile, Hyundai Sonata running around here smooth. I'm telling us. But here I like to talk facts. I'm going to show y'all, and we're going to be talking about this going forward, because I do believe that the Cowboys can win this Eagles game with Cooper Rush. I think they can win it. I think they can win it if they play it the right way. You get a backup to play, you don't have to you get a backup to play, you don't have to use him. Oh, you pray you don't have to use him. That's it. That's what he's for. And if you have to use him, you want him to win some games. House of Bethorian, you making too much sense. I said it before. You lost Dan Quinn and replaced him with Mike freaking Zimmer. And I'm going to give Zimmer credit. He's been fighting with what he has. But we have to realize what kind of defense he plays. Nothing deep, nothing cheap. Bend, don't break. I'll let you drive down the field, won't let you score touchdowns. You're not going to see a lot of exciting plays. You're not going to see a lot of turnovers. You're not going to see a lot of interceptions, a lot of fumbles, a lot of strip sack fumbles. He doesn't run a lot of blitzes. Mike Zimmer likes to keep it in front of him. And that's one of the reasons why Micah Parsons and these guys were pushing so hard. They were pushing back because they knew this is not their style of football. This is not their style of football. Trayvon Diggs, this is not his style of football. Trayvon Diggs needs a pass rush. If Trayvon Diggs has a pass rush, he can take more chances because that puts the quarterback in quick decision mode. And then you mess around and throw it over to Trayvon Diggs. He has extremely great hands. Extremely good hands. Trayvon Diggs could literally be playing wide receiver for this team. I'm actually shocked they haven't asked him to play on the other side of the ball maybe 5 to 10 times a game. Trayvon Diggs got extremely good hands. You get Trayvon Diggs with a pass rush, he can trail some of these wide receivers. Guess what? Ball underthrown. Bye-bye. Trayvon Diggs got to go into the crib. I'm interested to see what DeRon Bland looks like without a pass rush. I'm interested to see what he looks like because he got his socks burned off last year when there was time, when there was play action. So I'm very interested to see what he looks like when he comes back. Dak is not a bad quarterback. The problem is he's not a great one either. He's wildly overpaid. I can't go with you on that part. I want these guys to get all the money they can. Every penny of it. Because these owners and everybody else, it's just like the NCAA. Everybody talking about these college players shouldn't be getting paid. And the NCAA is $1 billion industry. Don't tell me these players shouldn't be getting paid. You're making money off jersey sales. And then they walking around here, you talking about, well, they getting something that is so valuable in education. Miss me. You didn't get them to come to school for an education? When I get the top recruit in the country to come to my school, this ain't Stanford. I didn't get you to come to be valedictorian. I got you because what are you, quarterback? I want you to lead us to the national championship. That's not what you're here for. And these colleges, these people with this whole system that the NCAA had, disingenuous. Well, the whole goal is to raise young men. You're lying. You only want to win games. College football is big money, and those players should have been getting paid. Been getting paid. Same thing for the NFL, the most brutal sport in the world. These men at any moment could get hit, spine, be paralyzed, anything. Talking about concussions, all of these different things. And they don't even have guaranteed contracts. Miss me. Make all the money that you can. This is America. Make all the money that you can. I'm telling us. Armour Darden says, why bash him? Not bashing him. You got to understand. You don't have to bash Cooper Rush. But you got to temper people's expectations. Because when folk are running around saying things that are not true, we as a Dallas Cowboy fan base, see, we can't be like everybody else. We can't be like everybody else and enjoy if our backup quarterback wins us 5 games. We can't be like everybody else and be happy and say, wow, okay, we're in good position. Now our starter's coming back. We can't do that because we got to start saying silly stuff. Leave him in. He's better than the starter. No, he's not. No, he's not. Because if he was, he wouldn't be in Dallas. Why didn't anybody look at Cooper Rush's 5-1 record? Why didn't anybody else in the league look at it? Why didn't the Las Vegas Raiders look at it? Why didn't they look at that and say, you know what? I think Cooper Rush could be our quarterback. Why didn't they do it? I'm not bashing him. I just want to put people into reality because the rest of the week, I'm going to be telling you how Cooper Rush can win this game. Nisi says, did anyone say Kirk Cousins was overpaid ever since he left Washington? Or any of the quarterbacks that was paid more and didn't have the same of his stats? It's amazing, isn't it, Nisi? You don't get this conversation with Trevor Lawrence, who everybody said was going to be a generational talent. My sons tease me right now because I said the same thing. Trevor Lawrence hasn't been a generational nothing. Oh, can we talk about Justin Herbert? Can anybody tell me how anybody justified Justin Herbert's contract? What were they paying Justin Herbert based on? You know what I keep hearing Colin Cowherd say? Potential, potential, potential. When I hear someone say potential, all I hear is unrealized success. They didn't have the success that everyone expected. Potential, potential, potential. No. Justin Herbert hasn't done anything. What about Tua Tagovailoa? What did he do to deserve that contract? What did he do? Only in Dallas. Only in Dallas did we do this stuff. I'm with you, Armor. I love him. Next man up. But I want us to temper ourselves when it comes to Cooper Rush. Cooper Rush. Appreciate you, Jay. Cooper Rush. Louis Bailey, I think it is. Louis Bailey. They're not hearing me, Louis. Todd Francis does not walk in Jerry Jones' office and say Dak Prescott is a $60 million quarterback. And oh, by the way, he's 31 and we still want a no trade clause and we want 4 years unless he knows there's other teams that want Dak Prescott. It's the only way you negotiate. You have to not only have something to offer, but you also have to have a backup plan to say, because if you won't do it, somebody else will. P-Funk. Point blank. Point blank. Bottom line, he's not better. But I'm going to show y'all something. I'm going to show it to you because I want you to temper your expectations. J-Pose, you said something earlier. I don't think anybody heard you. I don't think people saw you in the chat. But we need to understand something about that 2022 season. That 2022 season when Cooper Rush did what he did. That defense was absolutely bonkers. Dan Quinn had that 2022 defense going ballistic. They were turning the ball over at a tremendous rate. They were getting teams off the field. They were sacking the quarterback. They were literally giving teams all kinds of problems. And so I want to take us back for a moment. I got it pulled up here, but they got this stuff so jumbled. I want to take us back just for a moment. I want to take us back to that 2022 season. I want to take us back, and I want us to go back and look at a couple of these games. Because if you look at what happened, and this is what frustrated me so much during that run, it was the Dallas Cowboy hate that led to people saying things that were not true. So I want to take us back just for a moment. I can remember this like it was yesterday because Dallas Cowboy losses are more cataclysmic than anybody else losing in the league. Dak Prescott, and it wasn't just Dak Prescott. The Tampa Bay Buccaneers came in with a game plan, and they literally mauled the Dallas Cowboys. They mauled the Dallas Cowboys. It was insane. I want you to look at this box score. I mean, look across the board. 347, 195, 152 yards rushing, 5.6 yards of play. I mean, look at the Cowboys. 3.8 yards a carry, 71 yards rushing, 173 yards passing. I'm sorry. That was some garbage time, quote unquote, if you want to call it garbage time. I mean, look at the Cowboys. Look at this performance. Third down efficiency, they were 3 for 15. Fourth down, they were 2 for 5. I mean, 4 sacks allowed. I mean, look at this. 10 penalties, 73 yards, 1 interception thrown. They lost the time of possession. The Tampa Bay Buccaneers came into they came in and mauled. They mauled the Dallas Cowboys. And everybody said the season was over. Everybody said the season was absolutely over. Dak Prescott breaks his thumb in that game. So for everyone, they're saying the season is over. There is no need in going on. I want to bring these things to our attention. Cooper Rush came in. They didn't count that loss to Cooper Rush because Dak Prescott started that game. I want you to keep in mind. So then our next game is, watch what our next game is. Our next game was the Cincinnati Bengals. And this is the game that kind of made a few people lose their minds because this is the Cincinnati Bengals. This is the Cincinnati Bengals. And hold on a second. Let me check something. I want to make sure I'm being accurate here about 2022. I want to make sure. Oh, hold on a second. Oh, wait a minute. So we have to understand something. This happens to teams all the time. You play a team that they could be better than you, but you got a better game plan. You wind up beating that team. But then that team, you look down the line that you beat, and that team is in the playoffs, deep in the playoffs, even in the Super Bowl. And you go, how are we not in the Super Bowl? We beat that team. Well, maybe you just had a better game plan that day. Maybe somebody wasn't on their game that day. Doesn't mean you were better. But guess what, y'all? We wound up beating the Cincinnati Bengals. And people literally lost their mind. And I want to go down some of the things that occurred in this game. It was a very weird game. But there's one thing in this game that didn't surprise me, and I think this is going to be the formula for the Dallas Cowboys. If they truly want to win, I question whether Jerry wants to win, but this is going to be the formula. And we're going to talk about this going forward for the rest of the week about Cooper Rush, because Cooper Rush is a capable quarterback if you will dumb down the offense. And this is what they did the last time he came in. Cooper Rush, we don't want you doing all this stuff that Dak Prescott does at the line, because one, you can't do it. We don't want you doing that. Number two, we're not going to give you a lot of reads. It's amazing what Mike McCarthy does when he knows that he doesn't. Watch this. Do y'all know artists say this all the time? Limitations are the breeder of creativity. Limitations breeds creativity. You know why? Because once you understand what you don't have, and this is the problem with Mike McCarthy and this team, what they have a hard time getting in their minds. They know we have an MVP quarterback. They know we have that. But what they can't get in their minds, we have an MVP quarterback that can make the throws. He can read these defenses. He can do all these things. But what they're not comprehending, but we don't have the players around him. We don't have the defense to back him up. So if he makes a mistake, we can return from those mistakes. Dak Prescott has to play literally perfect football for this team to win games. And so Mike McCarthy says, I don't have to be creative. I got Dak Prescott. I don't have to close the playbook. I have Dak Prescott. I can do anything I want to do. I got Dak Prescott. But watch what limitations do. Limitations breed creativity. I got Cooper Rush. Dak wasn't running the ball, but Cooper Rush. Dak is slow. Well, what do you call Cooper Rush? Got to be careful with Cooper Rush running the ball. Cooper Rush can make some great throws, but he can't make all the throws. So let me put in the plays that fit what Cooper Rush can do. Are y'all following me? You want to know why Cooper Rush looks good? Because then Mike is operating with what he knows is a limitation. So I got limitations. It's breeding creativity. How do we get other players involved? How do we keep the ball out of his hands? How do we keep the ball safe? How do we control the clock? How do we get first downs? How do we get easy plays? What do we do? Are you following me? This is the problem. When you have greatness, your mindset is, I got greatness. I can do anything I want to do. This is how you think. I got limitations. There are only so many things I can do. So let me do only what I can do. And when I hone in on that, and this is what Mike McCarthy should have been doing with Dak Prescott this year. Dak is great, but what we have around him is not great. So how do we maximize what we can do with what we have? He did it in the Pittsburgh game, but he refuses to do it in any other game. This is what they're going to do with Cooper Rush. You don't believe me? I'm about to show you some things that are amazing. The devil is in the details. I said it the other day. I want you to look at this. This Cincinnati game was like an anomaly. They caught them literally off guard. But I want you to look at some things. Total yards, Cowboys 337. Bengals 254. Passing yards 165. Rushing yards 89. Yards per play 3.8. The defense was having a pretty good day. 6 for 17 on third down. Total plays, 5 punts, 7 penalties, 35. Time of possession was them. But the Cowboys were so efficient. I want you to pay attention to this number right here. 107 yards rushing. Anybody remember what Colin Cowherd said about Dak Prescott? Colin Cowherd, Dak Prescott hating self. He said, Dak Prescott with a running game is nearly unbeatable. Dak Prescott with a running game, Colin Cowherd said, is Patrick Mahomes. You want to help Cooper Rush win 2, 3 winnable games? I want you to feast your eyes on this. This is important. Cooper Rush, 19 of 31. But here's where I want you to focus. 15 to Zeke, 9 to Pollard, 1 to CD, 1 to Gravitate Turpin. They ran the ball 26 times. You know what the problem has been with Mike McCarthy all season long? He refuses to run the ball. If Mike McCarthy, how many times have I said it? Anybody who's been listening to me, what have I been saying? Rico Dowdle needs to run the ball. How many times? 20 to 25 times. How many times does Dalvin Cook need to run the ball? 10 times, 12 times. What do you need to do? Gravitate Turpin, jet sweeps. What do you need to do? You know how you help an offensive line that cannot block? You run the doggone ball. You run and you run and you run. Because if you run the ball, I just watched Kansas City do it. If you run the ball, Patrick Mahomes couldn't get them a touchdown in the third quarter. You know how we start getting them touchdowns in the fourth quarter? They ran the ball. This is why Cooper Rush. This is why Cooper Rush. You want to know why he was 19 of 31? You want to know why he was 19 of 31, 235 yards, and 31 passes? That was still too much. But you want to know why he was so efficient? Let's go back to this. When you run the ball, play action is available. When you run the ball consistently, play action is available. You want to know what Mike McCarthy has been inconsistent with? It's been coming out of his own mouth every single week, and I don't understand who he's talking to. He says we have to be consistent with the run. I'm not talking about running it 12 times with Rico Dowdle. Hey, that's great. He was 12 for 75. What would he have done if you'd have ran him 24 times? I wonder if Dak has a pulled hamstring. I wonder if CD Lamb has a sprained shoulder joint. I wonder, what does that game look like if you run the ball 35 times? You have to realize your line is not good enough. You know what you do when you don't have a line that's good enough? Run the ball. And don't run it up the middle. Don't run it up the middle. Run it to the sidelines. Run sweeps. Run off tackle. Do what you have to do. But you pound that defense to the left, to the right, to the left, to the right, up the middle, to the. You pound that defense. You stop those pass rushers. They don't get the tee off on your quarterback. He's not running for his life. Why? Because when he fakes like he's going to hand the ball off, you've ran the ball so much. Hold on, I got to stop and see if it's it's a pass. Now I got to run after the quarterback. Too late. Even the cornerbacks are peeking in the backfield if you run the ball. It's too late. The safeties are peeking in the backfield. The linebackers are playing up closer. Now you get that space between the safety and the linebackers. That space is there. You know what they're doing to the Cowboys? Cloud coverage, CD Lamb. Don't play the run. 4 men rushing, everyone else in coverage. How do you win? Now, some of y'all might not understand football. It's hard to throw on cover 2. It's hard to throw on cover 2, man. Especially if you don't have the receivers who can get separation. It's hard to throw on cover 2. If a team know you won't run the ball, you can forget it. You're going to have a long day. Unless you got super stud wide receivers. They better be super studs. I just want to keep showing you. Not hating on Cooper Rush. I'm just trying to bring you into reality. We got to stop acting like Cooper Rush went out here and was a world beater and just tore the league up. Let's stop that. He didn't tear the league up, y'all. Cooper Rush didn't tear the league up, because I promise you, if Cooper Rush tore the league up, he wouldn't be with the Dallas Cowboys right now. He wouldn't be with the Dallas Cowboys right now. Let's go again. I'll show you the next game. The next game was the New York Giants. And we all know the New York Giants are just, they really haven't been good for a while, but it's the New York Giants. It's a rivalry game, so we know it could be a pretty decent game. But I want to show you again. You got to look at these box scores, and you can see things that are going on in the background. You can see a lot of things that are going on. So, we get the New York game. And this right here, it's a pretty good game. But be very careful of how you're looking at this. So, let's look at the box score again. Y'all still with me? Let's look at the box score. Pretty good game for the Cowboys. But I want you to feast your eyes. I want you to feast your eyes on one number in particular of why the Dallas Cowboys won this game. Keep your eyes on the box score. Let me roll down in the chat real quick. Y'all tell me real quick. Look at this New York Giant game. Tell me what jumps out at you in the box score. What jumps out? Total yards. Cowboys 391, New York Giants 336. Passing yards 215. Cowboys 169, New York Giants. You want to know what jumps out? Rushing yards. The Cowboys ran for a whopping 176 yards. The Giants ran for 167. Tell me you can't win a lot of games if you're going to win the rushing battle. You're going to win the rushing battle. Not only that, I want you to focus your attention on something else. There's a little thing down here at the bottom. They were also able to win TOP, time of possession. You know how they won TOP? They had 61 plays, a whopping 23 first downs. I mean, the New York Giants got 22, but a whopping 23 first downs. But here is the number you need to focus on: 176 rushing yards. We're acting like Cooper Rush tore the league up. Cooper Rush didn't tear the league up. Warren Miles said something down here at the bottom. Warren Miles said, sounds like we missed Pollard. You don't believe me? Let's look at what he did in 2022. Let's look at this box score. Watch this again. Individual stats. 21 of 31. 215 yards. You probably were not going down the field a lot. But let me call your attention to this. Tony Pollard. 13 carries, 105 yards. Ezekiel Elliott. 15 carries, 73 yards. I'm not counting Cooper Rush. Do y'all realize they rushed the ball 28 times? 28 times for 176 yards. Y'all help me out. What do you think happens if the Cowboys ran the ball 28 times against the Atlanta Falcons? Limitations are limitations breed creativity. The Cowboys understood something. We're going to run the ball. We're going to run the ball. We're going to run the ball as long as Cooper Rush is the quarterback. We're going to keep all of his throws. We're going to keep him very safe. We'll give him 2 or 3 shots, tops, 2 or 3. But we're going to keep everything in. We're going to keep everything safe. And we're going to run the ball. Run the ball. And I'm going to tell you something. This Dallas defense, as these games went on, the Dallas defense got stingier and stingier. Because you have to look at this. When you look at Daniel Jones, you want to know what got him? The score is 23-16. Daniel Jones had an interception. Daniel Jones had an interception. And Daniel Jones in that game was not having a great game. He was not having a great game. They were running the ball. They were doing good with the run. But I want you to feast your eyes on this number. 5 sacks. Y'all tell me the game this season the Cowboys have had 5 sacks. Tell me. Tell me in the chat, y'all. I'm just laying down facts. I know the facts are boring. Name me the game in 2024 where this defense has helped out Dak Prescott and have gotten 5 sacks. Show me. The Cleveland game was the only one. Give me something outside of Cleveland. This defense dialed it up on Daniel Jones. 5 sacks, 1 interception. The Cowboys were running exceptionally well. Play action is working exceptionally well. They had a running touchdown from Zeke. They had a passing touchdown from CeeDee Lamb. I mean, the Cowboys were absolutely, you better believe, they were absolutely fantastic. And let's look again. These box scores is what you have to pay attention to. So let's see. Cooper Rush throws a touchdown. Zeke catches 1. Zeke runs 1. CD, I'm pretty sure the one that was thrown, that's the one that went to CeeDee Lamb. Trayvon Diggs, interception. I'm telling you, if you look at these box scores, you start seeing some things that make sense. Look at this. Brett Maher. Look how many points he scored. That's telling us something. He also had some field goals in there. So when you think about this game, how the Dallas Cowboys was winning these games, look at the box score. You got to look at this stuff because if you just think in your mind, oh, he's 5-1 like everyone's telling you, Cooper Rush is tearing it up. First quarter, field goal. Second quarter, field goal. Touchdown, third quarter. Touchdown, fourth quarter, and the field goal. He didn't tear the league up. And that's not hating on Cooper Rush. I'm stating the facts. We're not being truthful when we talk about those wins. Because you can't just talk about the wins. You got to talk about how you got the wins. Because when you talk about how you got the wins, then you can understand how you can get maybe this win. This is what you have to do. You have to go back and you have to look at, how did we do this when Dak Prescott went out the first time? How do we do it? Well, I'm showing you how they did it. We got to stop talking in these languages like he's a unicorn. He's not a unicorn. Limitations breed creativity. They breed creativity. When I'm limited, I don't think about what I don't have anymore. Now I'm only focused on what I do have. How do I maximize what I have? How do I do more with less? How do I do this? This is what they did when Dak Prescott went out that first time. This is what they did. Look at the Washington Commanders game. Just look at it. You look at this game. 25-10. Cowboys. Watch this. Look at the score. Field goal. 3 field goals. Field goal. Field goal. Touchdown. Is that a sign that the offense is tearing it up? Is the offense tearing it up? The team. It was the team. They were playing team ball. They were doing things as a team. They pulled together. Look at the box score. Anything jump out to you at the game leaders? Look at Carson Wentz. Carson Wentz threw the ball 42 times. 1 touchdown. Anything stand out? 2 interceptions. Look at Cooper Rush. Look at the passes. 27. This is actually where you should have Dak Prescott. 25 throws a game, 223 yards, 2 touchdowns. Look at the team stats. I mean, this stuff is right here. People could get the truth if they wanted it. Total yards, 279. Passing yards, 217. Rushing yards, 62. How did they do this? How did they do this? And this time, it wasn't that great of a running game. You want to know how they did it? Can I entertain you with these 2 interceptions down here? It was those interceptions. 2 sacks allowed. I mean, the Cowboys, look at this, 3rd down efficiency, 5 for 15. I mean, that Cowboys defense, people are not giving them credit. That Cowboys defense dialed it up. They dialed it up when Dak was out. They really did. And let's look at the Cowboys. Let's look at some of their player stats. You want to see another amazing stat? The Cowboys, we're not going to count Cooper Rush. So the Cowboys had 56 yards against the Washington Commanders. Somebody says, aha, I got you, G. They didn't run the ball that well. You remember what I said a couple of days ago? Your run game doesn't even have to be necessarily dominant. You just have to run and be dominant. Feast your eyes on this. Zeke ran the ball 19 times. You don't have to get 100 yards. Keep running it. Because it's still going to open up the play action game for Cooper Rush. it's still going to open up the play action game because you still got that defense in the mindset of, doggone it, why are they still running and they're not successful at it? We are successful at it. We're wearing you down. We're beating you up. We're making you stay alert. We're going to continue to run the ball, whether we're successful as in 100 yards or not. Look at this. Zeke ran 19 times. That's what you call being committed to the run. Look how many times Tony Pollard ran it. He ran less than 1 yard a carry average. He ran it 8 times. I'm showing you everything you need to know. Everything you need to know. They're not tearing it up. They're not tearing up the league like you think. Look at this. Deron Bland, interception in that game. The defense, Trayvon Diggs, interception in that game. We talked about it already. The defense, Brock Maher, the defense. You got to look at these things for what they are. And we're not going to sniff at this. Yeah, you had 2 touchdowns. But when you're running the ball efficiently, you can do some things in the passing game. You can do some things. You can take a couple of shots. You can take a couple of chances when your defense, it's playing lights out. We're acting like Cooper Rush came out here and these people keep, Cooper Rush this. No, he's not a unicorn, y'all. Limitation breeded creativity. The Cowboys said something that makes perfect sense, and I hope they do the same thing again. How do we win with Cooper Rush? We know his limitations. He's only been a career backup here for the last how many years? Not only does he know the offense, we know Cooper Rush. So how do we win with Cooper Rush? Watch this. The Rams game. We got to look at this stuff. And this is when Cooper Rush started exposing Cooper Rush. They started exposing Cooper Rush. It started in the Rams game. And these diehard Cooper Rush apologists didn't want to admit it. Look at the score. 22-10. First quarter. 3 field goals. Now keep this in mind. Attributed to the defense being so good. The defense is keeping you shorter fields because they're playing so good. Touchdown second quarter. Third quarter, 3 points. Fourth quarter, 3 points. Look at this. Game leaders. Cooper Rush threw for 102 yards. We would absolutely destroy Dak Prescott if he threw for 102 yards and they won. We'd still destroy him. But let's go to the player stats. Well, let's go to the team stats first. Look at this. Cowboys, 239 yards. Total. How did they beat the Rams? Feast your eyes on this number right here. Cooper Rush, 76 yards. See, the Rams, they got some tape on him, Jay Recruiter. They started watching him. See, he caught people by surprise. But see, they got tape on him. They watched some games on him. They know where they know where his limitations are. They know where he's weak. So look at what they did. They held him to 76 yards. What did the Cowboys do? They ran the freaking ball. They ran the ball down their throats. 163 yards rushing. They ran the ball down their throat. You want to see something else? 2 fumbles, 1 interception. Game changer. That Dallas Cowboy defense was turning people over. As the season went on, they were turning teams over at an extraordinary rate. That's the Dan Quinn effect, and that's what we're missing. Mike McCarthy even said as much. Our defense last year afforded us a lot of opportunity to get our stuff together. They balanced us out. No, they didn't balance you out. They bailed you out. They bailed you out. They bailed you out in 2023. They bailed you out in 2022. The defense bailed them out. Bailed them out before the bye week last year. Bailed them out when Dak Prescott got hurt. First part of the season 2022. That's the Dan Quinn effect. We don't have that anymore, y'all. And while I'll agree that Mike Zimmer's been doing the best he can with nothing, the better the team gets, the more you get exposed, because the more your quarterback is going to be asked to do. We had Tony Pollard. So we could go in our bag and say, Tony Pollard, run the ball 8 times. Watch this. Zeke, run the ball 22 times. Can we say 30 carries? What do y'all think Dak Prescott looks like this year with 30 carries on this team? What do y'all think he looks like? How many wins do y'all think we have if Dak Prescott is getting 25, 30 carries from his running backs, even if they're not getting 100 yards a game? But in this game, Tony Pollard and Ezekiel Elliott, 86 and 78. They killed it. Look at this. They got more yards than the wide receivers? Killed it. Defense, lights out. Defense was lights out on the Rams. Lights out. I'm telling y'all. We keep talking about Cooper Rush. What about what Brett Maher was doing during this run? Brett Maher was scoring all the points. Brett Maher is literally scoring all the points. But you see what happens with quarterbacks? They either get too much credit or not enough credit. If I hate you, not enough credit. If I love you, too much credit. Cooper Rush was getting and is getting way too much credit for these wins the Cowboys had. I'm gonna stop boring you, but I'm sorry, we got to talk facts, because too many people, they're not honest. They're not honest, and they're acting like the Cooper Rush is this unicorn. He's a unicorn, but he's had many opportunities to get out there on the open market, and nobody has asked him to come and quarterback their team. You know why? Because they're watching what I'm showing you right now. They're watching it. And this was the next game. The Rams game exposed him. You want to know the next game that exposed him? It was this one right here. It was the Eagles. The Eagles game exposed Cooper Rush. 18 of 38, 181 yards, 1 touchdown. Feast your eyes on this. 3 interceptions. 3 interceptions. And I've heard some people talk about, Cooper Rush almost came back on him. No. That defense buckled down. And I'm going to show you the exhibit that people keep not wanting to talk about. He only completed 18 passes. 18 passes on 38 attempts. You take Cooper Rush, and did y'all see what he did in that Atlanta Falcons game? Cooper Rush had more attempts than Dak Prescott, and he didn't even play a half. I promise y'all, if Cooper Rush throws the ball if he throws the ball more than 25 times in any of these games he's playing, we losing. We are losing. They better run the ball. This is how they did it then. How you going to throw with Cooper Rush with a worse offensive line, a worse defense? How are you going to do it? You better run that doggone ball. Y'all keep on talking about this mythological unicorn. He gonna go from 5-1 to 5-5. We got to be real with ourselves and stop this crazy talk about Cooper Rush and keep it 100. Keep it 100. Everybody want to be in la-la land. No, let's talk facts. Cooper Rush, 18 of 38, 181 yards, 1 touchdown. How is he bringing them back, y'all? 3 3 interceptions. He was a liability. Look at what they did. Ezekiel Elliott, 13 times. Tony Pollard, 11 times. CeeDee Lamb, 2 times. They tried the same formula. They said, hey, I'll tell you what we'll do. We'll run the ball. We'll run the ball. What is this? 24. They ran the ball 26 times. You know why they couldn't run it more? Let's go back up here. Look at what happened. You know why Cooper Rush threw the ball so many times? 0 points in the first quarter. Turn Cooper Rush over. 20 points in the second quarter. 20 whopping points in the second quarter. How much you bet those turnovers had something to do with those 20 points? The better the team gets, the worse Cooper Rush is going to look. The better the team gets, the worse Cooper Rush is going to look. And that's why you look at what happened. They got to the third quarter. Defense, buckle down. 0 points, 6 points. The Cowboys, they started running the ball. They got the ball down there. Zeke gets a touchdown. Cooper Rush, they run the ball down there. They get a touchdown. It was the running game that almost brought them back in the second half. Cooper Rush threw them out of the game. It's amazing how we don't remember like this, isn't it? No one tells you this story like I just told it, do they? They don't tell you that story. They don't give you the context of Cooper Rush being 5-1 because they'll tell you he carried the whole team. Cooper Rush put the team on his back, y'all. Stop it. No, he didn't. Cooper Rush is going to have a great game. Yeah, if they run the ball. Because I promise you, Andre, I don't know if you're being facetious or not, but I'm going to tell you what I'm going to do to the Dallas Cowboys. I'm going to tell you what I'm going to do. They can run the ball, but they won't run the ball. First thing I'm going to make them do, show me you're going to run. Because until you show me you're going to run, I'm going to play my base defense, and I'm going to drop back in coverage, and I'm not going to give Cooper Rush nothing. I'm not going to give him nothing. Let's see what he do with nothing. Let's see what he does. Nisi says, I can't believe they had him throwing 38 times. You know why he threw 38 times? Because he got him so far behind throwing interceptions. And they had no choice if they wanted to get back in the game. They had to throw the ball. And even then, are we not listening to this? He only completed 18 passes. You know how they got back on track? Run the ball. They got back on track. They ran the ball. They picked and chose. They picked and chose where they throw the ball. And they're going to have to do the same thing. I believe they can beat the Eagles. The Eagles is not that great of a team on defense. But you know what's so crazy? Neither was the Falcons. And we made the Falcons look like they were the best team in the league on defense. Limitations breed creativity. If Mike McCarthy doesn't throw this football, I can just tell y'all how this is going to turn out. If Mike McCarthy don't run the ball 35 times, I'm telling you, he better run it 35 times. He better go in his bag, and I don't even think he can go in his bag. Mike needs to go and look at Kyle Shanahan. He needs to go look at the San Francisco game. Look at Kyle Shanahan's playbook. Look at how he runs the ball. Look at how he designs the run. He better go and get that running playbook, because I'm telling y'all, if y'all think that Cooper Rush is going to throw us into a win, you're sadly mistaken. Cowboys will have a great game on Sunday, looking for an upset. I'm going to tell you something, man. You got to realize something what's going on with the Dallas Cowboys right now. And I would love for the Dallas Cowboys to win the game. I'm actually hoping they win the game. I actually hope the Cowboys could win 3 games in a row. Because if they could win 3 in a row, and then you get Dak Prescott back, because this is what happened in this run. I remember these conversations like yesterday, because Dak Prescott said in looking from the sideline, and how they dumbed down the playbook. He said he saw things a lot differently when he got back in the game. And did you notice what happened? Dak Prescott went on a run. He went on a run, and they won 12 games. He went on a run because there were some things they learned, because limitations breed creativity. They realized that, okay, now we can do some of the same things we did with Rush, but we can open it up just a little bit more and a little bit more and a little bit more, and we'll gradually do it. Maybe this will make them do what I've been saying they should be doing. They should have been doing the entire season. Go look at the box score for the Kansas City Chiefs. Andy Reid has already adopted this philosophy. I got Patrick Mahomes, and I'm going to run the ball 25, 30, 35 times, and I have Patrick Mahomes. Why do you think Andy Reid is doing that? Why do you think Andy Reid is doing that? You know why Andy Reid is doing that, y'all? Because Andy Reid is even saying, I don't have Tyreek Hill anymore. Travis Kelce is at the end of his career. His head is in the clouds with Taylor Swift. I don't have the outside weapons I used to have. And so even Patrick Mahomes needs somebody to throw to. I don't think some of us are watching this Kansas City thing, what's going on. They're undefeated. And Patrick Mahomes is having, and we're talking about Dak Prescott is above average, below average. Patrick Mahomes is having a very average season. Very average. But do you know what Andy Reid is smart enough to do? I'm not going to force it. Just because I have Patrick Mahomes. I'm not going to throw the ball 35 times and he don't have anyone to throw the ball to 35 times. I'm not going to do that. And if I do that, I'm still going to mix it up with 30, 35 runs. And you just watch what happens with the Kansas City Chiefs when they get Pacheco back. They're talking about Pacheco probably going to be back in about 3 to 4 weeks. You watch what they look like then. You think Pat Mahomes hasn't been throwing? Wait until you see what Pat Mahomes looks like when Pacheco comes back. They're going to be picking and choosing what they do with Patrick Mahomes. We're talking Patrick Mahomes, y'all. Andy Reid has adopted this philosophy, and I dare us to have no weapons for Dak Prescott. I dare us to have no weapons for Dak Prescott and think we can go out here and throw a party on teams. Shame on us. Just shame on us. Shame on us. It's crazy how we think. And sometimes I'm like, it's crazy how Dallas Cowboy fans think. We just don't think. We are expecting something that even teams who have an entirely better team, they don't even expect. It's madness. It's madness. And that's why we can't enjoy the season. That's why we can't do a lot of winning. Man, ain't no way they let if Dak Prescott called them plays, it would be so shameful because Dak Prescott would actually be showing Mike McCarthy, this is exactly what I want to do right here. Dak Prescott will call the game of the season. I promise you. The game of the season. Yep, Andre, get pressure off of Patrick Mahomes. As great as Patrick Mahomes has been, do y'all think Patrick Mahomes always want to do it all? Do y'all think Patrick Mahomes always wants to make a heroic throw? Do you think he always wants to be the person that has to run the ball into the end? Do you think that's what he wants to do? He'd much rather other people do that sometimes. Because it relieves pressure. Because anytime you're anytime you're doing that all the time, and the first time you fail, the second time you fail, you know, if people start saying, he's not what he used to be. He ain't what he used to be. Nope. Andy Reid says no more releasing pressure. I'm going to get your defense. I'm going to get your running game. That's it. And Jerry Jones has put Dak Prescott in a tough spot. He said it when he gave him the deal. I'm going to make you do more with less. Okay, are you crazy? Who pays somebody $60 million and say, now do more with less? No, I'm going to put some things around you so I can justify this payment. I'm going to do it. You said he almost got hurt. Who you talking about? I'm telling us. That's going to do it for me. I wanted to make sure I gave you this breakdown of these Cooper Rush games. I know it's boring, but I got to put us back into reality. We're going to talk about this more going on during the week because I believe Cooper Rush can win the game. And I'm not going to say this crazy stuff like people are saying. I believe in Cooper Rush. Stop it. That is pure nonsense. But what I do believe is the Cowboys, if they don't win these games, they can be in position to win these games. If Mike McCarthy will do what I've been screaming for him to do the entire season, if he'll just run the ball. That's all he has to do. Run it, run it, run it, run it. Oh, yeah, he almost got hurt. That ankle, whenever he made whatever that step was with these Achilles that these guys have been doing, I thought he had snapped his Achilles. But that's one of the reasons why they're doing this too. He's getting older. You want to take pressure off of him. I mean, you can gunsling when you're younger, but the older you get, the more you play with your mind, not your feet, not your ability. That stuff needs to come out when needed, only when needed. It should not be a part of the game plan. And so you watch what I tell you. He's going to do less of that too when Pacheco comes back. When Pacheco comes back, going to run that ball. And the Cowboys, if they have any chance at winning, Cooper Rush can make some throws. Because that throw he threw to CeeDee Lamb in the end zone, I'm not even hating. If CeeDee Lamb's shoulder's not hurt, man, that's a catch right there. That's a catch, man. Cooper Rush dropped that thing in the basket, and Cooper Rush can make throws like that. Well, he should be able to. He's an NFL quarterback. And there are many backup quarterbacks that can make those throws. But they're backups because they're backups. Appreciate you too, Andre. Appreciate everybody. That's going to do it for me. I'm not sure I'm going to be back today. If I do, it'll be a late night show because everybody will be asleep. And if I do a late night show, probably a lot of y'all will be asleep. So the only way I'll be back this evening is I do a late show. But that's going to do it for me on this one. That'll be my time. We'll be back 2 times for sure, though, on Thursday and Friday. And we're going to be digging in on this because I'm going to keep talking about, I do believe Cooper Rush. I do believe he can win these games if Mike McCarthy will do exactly what he's supposed to do, run the ball. So if you like this video, please like, share, subscribe, hit that notification bell so you know the next time Let's Talk Cowboys posts another video where we talk facts. Peace.